Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onesportsmedia.com. 18 more persons have tested positive for COVID-19 in Jamaica, pushing the country's total to 143. The majority of the cases are from the Alarica call center in Portmore, St. Catherine. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton gave details at a press conference a few minutes ago.
Firstly, Jamaica now has 143 confirmed cases of COVID-19. This follows 18 new additions over the last 24 hours. Of that number, 5 are males and 13 are females, ranging from 4 years old to 56 years old. So we have had 18 new additional cases since we announced the last time, over the last 24 hours. The 3 cases are contacts of a confirmed case. The other 15 are under investigation, and there is some suspicion that a number of them are linked to the call center in Portmore, but we are still investigating. 23 persons have recovered and been discharged, and 5 persons, unfortunately, have passed as a result of COVID-19. We have now tested some 1,424 samples, including the samples that were tested for severe acute respiratory infection. 143 of that number are confirmed positive, while 1,281 are confirmed negative cases. Of the 143 confirmed cases, to date, 52 are from Alarica, the call center in Portmore, St. Catherine. Just to say that the St. Catherine Health Department is actively following the situation at Alarica and are being provided with the additional support personnel to expedite their contact tracing efforts. In addition to the St. Catherine Health Department, the KSA, Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation area, and the Clarendon Health Department are also working to the extent that persons who work at Alarica are located in those parishes, and I'll give some more detail on that shortly. In terms of, well, maybe I should give the details now. Of the total number of staff on record at Alarica, numbering 787, based on the information we have, some 559 are from St. Catherine. We have made contact with 447. This is the health team. There are some challenges as it relates to 112 of those names because of addresses not being correct. We are continuing the efforts to locate those individuals. Their contacts, meaning the contacts of persons who work and who have been tested at Alarica, we have made contact with an additional 179 of their contacts in the parish. The testing continues. We have done 414 interviews and collected samples, and we have done this through the location at Alarica, the Linstead, St. Jago, Old Harbour, and Greater Portmore health centers, and that exercise continues. We will continue until we complete the process.
In the meantime, Dr. Tufton said the situation at Alarica is of grave concern to the ministry.
The Alarica situation is the dominant challenge for us now in the country as it relates to COVID-19 and the response. It represents for us the weak link, if you will, in the arsenal and the work that we have been doing. It is going to be and is very difficult to reach all those individuals, but even more so, to contact trace all the persons that they have come in contact with. And given the extent to which we have had positive tests, it is quite clear that the possibility or the likelihood of spread by one of those individuals to their friends, neighbors, the taxi driver, the restaurant, wherever they go, the possibility for spread are real, and it is something that we need to take very seriously.
In the meantime, another BPO entity, Sutherland Global, has closed its South Camp Road office. In a letter to staff, country head Doug Armand said there's a possible case of COVID-19 at the location. That worker is a close contact of a confirmed case at Alarica in Portmore, St. Catherine. Mr. Armand said they're awaiting the test results. During the closure, Sutherland Global will thoroughly clean its offices. Operations will resume on the advice of the Health Ministry. And those in the business process outsourcing sector will have to follow more stringent rules if they want to remain open. Prime Minister Andrew Holness outlined the measures during a late-night sitting of the House of Representatives. It follows an increase in COVID-19 cases among workers at the Alarica call center.
Temperature checks must be conducted on each employee upon the arrival of the employee for work at the beginning of the employee's shift. So before you enter the building or before you are granted entry into the workstation area, your temperature must be checked and logged. With effect from the 21st day of April 2020, each employee is provided with a headset for the use only of that employee. Currently, the headsets are, the users change with the shift. Now they have to provide an individual headset for each employee that only that employee uses.
The 17-year-old girl who ran away from a quarantine center in Clarendon has been found. This was disclosed by head of the Clarendon Police, Senior Superintendent Glenford Miller. He told TVJ News that she has been placed in isolation. Now, with the parish of St. Catherine under lockdown, residents in other parishes are worried about the migration of persons from St. Catherine. On Wednesday, our news team visited St. Thomas, where residents called on the government to close all points of entry to the parish. More in this report.
This was a town centre in Yala St. Thomas on Wednesday. As people went about their business, no physical distancing was observed. But instead of physical distancing, residents were more concerned about those fleeing St. Catherine. The parish has yet to record any COVID-19 cases, and residents say they would like to keep it that way.
We want the ball and lockdown because put more people in my round and when I come over here with a virus over here, brother. You may tell you because St. Thomas good and we don't have a problem over here, so we don't have a problem come over here. Over here clean, so we want to keep it clean like this. And yeah, I tell you now, from Portland border to Boxer border for lockdown and allow St. Thomas people alone because we're not dead for hungry over here. You know. We have yam and banana and coconut and coke over here, no free.
Like the road from town to Midday. And from Midday to Portland, block the road where you see the down there. Because I sell a Midday. They do me the close thing and I can't afford to sit down. And now I come out from the St. Thomas, I now come back out. So I just need the government to help you block the border.
One taxi operator suggested that the announcement of a lockdown should have been done differently.
What I think the Prime Minister should have done before announcing the lockdown of Portmore, they should have done what they have done with the SOD. They should lock Portmore before announcing the lockdown of Portmore because a lot of people left Portmore last night, fleeing Portmore, St. Catherine, and coming to Kingston and St. Angela and other areas.
Another taxi operator made this appeal to residents.
And we are calling on the people of St. Thomas now to be informer. And we have to come together because it is very bad. And I'm asking the people of St. Thomas, do not take in those people coming in the parish that you do not know.
Shane Masters, TVJ News.
And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. We have much more stories right after this break. Welcome back, and we're continuing the news. 62 deportees are expected to arrive in Jamaica from the United States on Tuesday, April 21. They were to return on March 26, but due to the COVID-19 outbreak, the Jamaican government negotiated a delay. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang said the deportees will be quarantined for 2 weeks in a secure government facility.
We have had, I said, productive discussion both with the local embassy and with their representative, the Department of Homeland Security and State Department through the embassy in Washington, and had the delays. But we are preparing that as necessary, or when necessary, we'll be able to accept them in the conditions laid down by the Ministry of Health.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said he has managed to secure the help of the United States to renovate the Fort Augusta prison in St. Catherine to house the deportees. He made the revelation in Parliament last night while addressing questions on whether the government will ask the U.S. to further delay the acceptance of deportees.
So we have secured some resources to rehabilitate the Fort Augusta facility. And we're going to it's significant resources, and we're going to create a facility there that could become a long-term halfway facility to assist in the I hate to use the word repatriation, but when we bring back the deportees, we create a facility for them.
The Health Ministry is insisting that a protocol has been developed for funeral homes on how to deal with bodies associated with COVID-19. Funeral directors have been voicing their concerns. Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Maurice Guy, again raised the issue in Parliament on Wednesday.
And I got a call this morning from a funeral home director who has concerns, even though nationally it has been said that the funeral directors have been given the protocols. But his concern is that many of his members do not understand, one, have not been given one, do not understand, two, what has been done. And he cited a case that when Ebola was coming, we were all gathered together and explained X, Y, and Z. And he's wanting a similar thing to happen now.
There was a protocol that was established and circulated. So you raised the issue about a particular individual or funeral home complaining. We can easily solve it if you just pass the information to me. But just to be very clear, a protocol was in fact done, and that protocol was circulated.
And the Health Ministry is again reminding business operators that members of the public should not be barred from entering their establishments if they refuse to be sanitized. However, such persons should have their own sanitizers. The hand sanitizers offered to the public should be appropriately labeled with the brand, name and strength of the active ingredient, name and address of the manufacturer, uses, warnings and storage conditions. Products such as bleach and vinegar are not encouraged as they can cause harm to the skin. $50 million has been raised to buy personal protective equipment to help in the fight against COVID-19. The money was raised through an online telethon during the Easter holidays, and several artists and entertainers participated. Culture Minister Olivia Grange gave the update in Parliament on Wednesday.
I want to express gratitude to the Jamaicans at home and abroad, as well as friends of Jamaica who responded with great enthusiasm to this telethon. Thanks to their kind donations, we are now able to contribute over $50 million. To be exact, $50,261,000 after conversion of multiple currency contributions towards procuring the personal protective equipment for our frontline workers. We say a big thank you to everyone who was able to donate. We appreciate you. Donations are still coming in, Mr. Speaker, and so I know we have exceeded the figure I quoted earlier because we are still counting.
And if you would like to contribute to the telethon, visit jatogetherwestand.com, jatogetherwestand.com for details. And in sports, as athletes across the world continue to share insight into the economic impact of COVID-19, reggae boy Omar Holness remains uncertain over his future at Darlington FC in England. Simon Preston has that story.
6 goals and 5 assists in 25 games aided Holness in being one of the most impactful players with Darlington FC in the National League North. His contribution has put Darlington 6 points adrift of the playoffs. However, due to the spread of COVID-19 across the United Kingdom, football has been suspended indefinitely. This to the frustration of the 26-year-old midfielder.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. Obviously not playing and also not knowing when exactly competition will resume. But in looking at the bigger picture, I think what's important for us right now is, following and adhering to the government guidelines so that, society can return to normality.
The former Real Salt Lake player says the virus could also impact his future at the club. His contract expires at the end of the season.
Fortunately for us, Darlington has committed to paying 100% of our wages during this time, so it hasn't had an economic impact on me. And in terms of my contract year, obviously my contract is up at the end of the year. Before this whole pandemic started, the coach was very optimistic about, negotiating contracts for next season. So obviously we'll see how that one goes.
Holness has been at the Durham-based club since March 2019. Simon Preston reporting for TVJ Sports.
Now, earlier we told you that the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Jamaica now stands at 143. The health minister gave details at a press conference which ended a short while ago. Now, just to let you know that you can watch the full broadcast or the full press conference at 1:05 p.m. right here on TVJ. And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.